My mother was 15 when she became pregnant with me. And there were those in her life who put a lot of pressure on her to have an abortion. And people very close to her, to the extent, as I understand it, there was even an appointment made. And because of my paternal grandfather's influence, again, as I understand it, she moved away from California until it was too far along in the pregnancy to have anyone force her to do that. And we went through a lot of bumps and bruises young that were directly related to her having had a baby at 16, at just 16. We went through a lot. And I've always been grateful that she chose life. I've always seen a certain logical inconsistency with those who are too freewheeling with abortion, because I've always questioned them, what are you saying about the value of my life? Because as I understand it, again, there was an appointment at a clinic with her name on it. I understand the matters are complex. I'm not a lawyer and I'm not a politician. However, I've always taken that particular matter rather personally. Christina and I, over the years, have also counseled with a number of women who were considering taking that action because of a, let's say, crisis pregnancy. We've counseled some who chose to terminate the pregnancy even while we were counseling them. We've counseled others who brought to us the painful regret of having done so. And I would say this, as a local church, surely so long as I have influence from this pulpit, I would invite and encourage every one of us to be very sensitive to the fact the chances are when we're talking to a group of people, there are people who fall at every possible end of the spectrum on that. And never to trivialize anyone's experience, or never to overtly or implicitly be unkind or cruel about any of those things. So for me, I'm very happy with regard to that legislation. But I'm also very sad that we live in a time and in a place where so many circumstances lead people into those kind of decisions. And I would that you and I would be the soft place to fall for the woman who remembers decades ago having participated in that, all the way to the person who is adamantly opposed to it and never would. The calling of the church, I would suggest, is to come alongside those who are in times of crisis, as Christina and I have personally done, and a church that I pastored previously did as a church, and put their arms around a young woman and say, there's an alternative. We'll help you. And they did. God will lead all manner of people with all manner of experience into this meeting house, and our calling is always and centrally and essentially and primarily, regardless of what we think politically, to extend the hand of Christ, love and grace, indeed truth, wrapped up in compassion. So today my prayer is not only one of celebration, that at least that's some step in the direction of what I would suggest is a more sane approach to living the difficult life that we find ourselves a part of. I would also continue to pray more for the hearts of people, for the soul of the family in America, and for the promise of God to be with those who struggle. So this morning, I want to invite your prayers on this nation. And we continue to pray because there's so much unrest in the hearts of people in our land and around the world, in places like Haiti and Ukraine and all over the place. And today, not to take for granted the precious privilege that we have of going to the Lord together, the Lord who answers prayer and meets us at the place of our concern and grants us grace.